basically got a room in there now, his own little place, probably his own little kitchen in there, shelf. Who knows, man? I think a poll came out. I think like 70% of Americans don't approve of this war. The senator jumps in and then snaps the guy's arm. All right, looks like everything is looking good. Welcome back to another video, everyone. This is Bo Unpacked, where I unpack everything that's going on in the world. And I gotta say, with what's going on overseas in Iran, I am just not a... I don't approve of it. I'm not for it whatsoever. I've done my deep dive into things. I've looked at different standpoints, and the only thing I can come up with is that Philadelphia wanted this, and that's the only thing that comes to my conclusion. Seeing what's taking place and seeing our troops getting killed, seeing that school getting bombed, it's just absolutely benign, and I don't stand for any of it, and I don't agree with it. I do think that this was planned out from the start, and we'll get to that later on, but we're going to go back a little bit and look into Trump's past and what he campaigned on. So let's just check it out here.
I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars.
No more wars, no more disruptions. We will have prosperity and we will have peace. Under Trump, we will have no more wars, no more disruptions, and we will have prosperity and peace for all. I am the candidate of peace. I am peace.
The candidate of peace, huh? Got your Nobel Peace Prize, got everything you wanted, and then what do? You go out and start a war with Iran, all because of why? Well, we know why. I covered it in my last video. You know, there's just a little country off in the Middle East that's been one Iran for the last 40 years. And, you know, as soon as it started happening, guess who comes out on the air and says, man, we've been waiting 40 years for this.
במערכה שבה אנחנו מביאים את כל כוחו של צה"ל כפי שלא היה מעולם למערכה הזאת כדי להבטיח את קיומנו ועתידנו. אבל אנחנו מביאים למערכה הזאת גם את סיועה של ארצות הברית, את ידידי נשיא ארצות הברית דונלד טראמפ, את צבא ארצות הברית, ושילוב הכוחות הזה מאפשר לנו לעשות את מה שאני מייחל לעשות כבר 40 שנה. להכות...
It's crazy. And then you got to sit here and look at stuff like this.
Tel Aviv with this breaking news. An Iranian missile we have just learned has hit the largest U.S. military base in the Middle East. Now, this news is just coming into CNN. Here's what we know this very moment. Qatar says an Iranian ballistic missile has struck Al Udeid Air Base, as I said, the biggest American base in the region. We don't know much more. No casualties reported as of yet. Again, we don't know what we don't know, but we do know they are saying it was a ballistic missile. It's obviously a significant development, and as that is coming in, we are...
Okay, so here's what's going on. Iran don't have missiles that can reach as far as we are. So they only have short ballistic range missiles. So the only thing that they can do in order to retaliate against us is to hit our bases that are in the Middle East. So in Qatar, that is our largest one out there. We got some in, I think, Saudi Arabia. I've seen Dubai getting hit. I don't know if that has anything to do with us, but, you know, all these places are getting hit in retaliation because we had to join in on the war. Now, there is a video circulating of Marco Rubio saying that the reason why we got into this war was because Bibi Netanyahu went to Trump and was telling him that we're going to go and bomb Iran whether you like it or not. And so what that was going to entail in my mind is that if Israel started bombing Iran, they don't have the firepower and the artillery like we do. So what that was going to entail was it was going to take longer for Israel to essentially bomb Iran and take out what they were trying to do. So essentially, with Iran having all the bombs they had, I think they had like over 40,000 short ballistic range missiles. I mean, it could be more than that. I could be just totally wrong. But to my understanding, if that were to take place, more American lives would be lost, essentially, because it would be over a longer period of time. So in Trump's mind, I think what he was trying to do or accomplish is take out their top leaders as fast as they can. I think he said something that it was estimated to take them 4 weeks, and they did it in the first hour. But, I honestly don't believe anything. I mean, you guys just seen it. He campaigned on no new wars, and then here we are. He could have put his foot down with Philadelphia and, done some negotiating more. I just don't think we were there yet. So I think war is like the very last option that we would have to go to, and here we are. So here's Tucker Carlson weighing in on it, and he makes some really good points that we're going to get into as well. So let's just hear what he has to say.
Did this tiny country convince the world's great superpower with the greatest military in history to do its bidding in a way that was going to hurt it? The most obvious answer is because Bibi told the President of the United States, you can join me or not, but I'm going. And at that point, you really only have two choices. Get on board or tell Israel no. And if they did it, that would not protect us because there are hundreds of thousands of Americans in the Middle East, and they're also the world's most important energy infrastructure. Now, of course, there's a third theoretical option. You say, no, and if you do it, we're gonna cut off aid. But that was not even on the table. The last president to do that was John F. Kennedy in 1962 when he got in a dispute with the founding prime minister of Israel, David Ben-Gurion, over Israel's nuclear program at Dimona. And President Kennedy said, no, can't keep testing, and I'm demanding inspections. And of course, he was not able to make good on those promises because he was killed. The truth is, and this is hard to say as a proud American, but the United States didn't make the decision here. Benjamin Netanyahu did.
Well, there you have it. What do you guys think? Now, a lot of things packed into one, and so, you can kind of see who's all behind this. I mean, it's pretty cut clear and obvious, guys. I mean, you got Bibi going to the White House, 5 times in the first year Trump was in office. He's basically got a room in there now, his own little place, probably his own little kitchen in there, shelf. Who knows, man? He's probably got it all. But yeah, he just totally cucked Trump into doing this war. And here we are. Now we got American lives being lost. I think we're up to 6 right now. But, he did. How can you go up there and just say that, yes, we're going to war, lives will be lost, knowing that the entire I think a poll came out, I think like 70% of Americans don't approve of this war. And I believe that 30% is probably the boomers. No offense to the boomers or anything, but I'm really starting to see like they're the ones that are really for this war, and I only think that it's because they only get their information from the news that's on the television. Now, if they're for Trump, they're watching Fox News, obviously, because that's the closest thing to Trump. But everything else, is owned by Philadelphia. So, I think Fox is too. I think Australia, a guy in Australia owns it or something like that, but he still had ties to Philadelphia. Maybe, allegedly, perhaps. I could be wrong on that. But yeah, they're only getting their information from there, and then whatever, they see on their news feed, on their social medias, if they have one. I know my grandparents have one, but who knows what they're seeing on their news feed. You guys know how news feeds works in social media. It goes off of what you see, what you scroll, what you stop at, what you like, commenting on, the whole et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know how it goes. That's where they're getting all their information from, and I believe that's why they're solely behind this war. They just don't have all the information. The more people that talk about it, the more get to their ears, feed the information to them. Don't just let them get the mainstream media attention, because that's what the Matrix wants. That's through the media. That's what they've always had until social media became an absolute explosion, and here we are. Philadelphia already has their histories with money and not keeping their word. For example, the ceasefire. When there was a ceasefire going on, what did they do? They started bombing Gaza again. It's just over and over and over. They just show that they can't keep their word, and they just can't contain themselves. So here's a little example as well. They were paying people to go on social media and propagandize what they were trying to achieve and what they wanted them to spew out to everyone and their followers, and they would pay them $7,000. So it says right here, Israeli officials allegedly hired social media influencers for $7,000 per post, failed to pay them, and are now facing lawsuits totaling millions of dollars overpaid invoices. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy that they literally just use people like that? They don't care. We're goyim, man. That's all we are. We're just goyim. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here, guys. But geez, this whole thing's just got me upset. So whenever you try to speak out against Philadelphia, you know, this just happened recently, and anytime you try to speak out against them, this is what's going to happen. So this just happened recently. This ex-Marine stood up and had something to say, and this is what happened.
Israel is the reason for this war. America does not want to fight this war for Israel.
Let's go. Come on, let's go.
America does not want to send its sons and daughters to war for Israel. Your inability to name that shows your exemptness as leaders.
Out.
This is wrong.
Stop.
And nobody wants to fight for Israel.
A reminder to all our
Commandant, please stand up as a Marine and stand up for America.
Now I want to pause it right here and show you guys something. See his arm right here? Now as the video plays on, watch his arm right here and listen very carefully. You can hear his arm break. They broke this guy's arm, this Marine's arm, for standing up and talking against Philadelphia and how he doesn't want our sons and daughters fighting in this war. The people do not agree with this, okay?
No one wants to fight for Israel.
The senator broke of a Marine. Broke the head of a Marine.
So what do you guys think of that? The senator jumps in and then snaps the guy's arm. You can literally see it poke out through his arm. His not poke out through, but you can literally see it poking through his sleeve. All for that? What did he serve for? What did he serve for? If he can't stand up and voice his opinion, an ex-Marine, and shame on everyone that just sat there and didn't say anything, moving the chairs for him, you know, for the officers trying to take him down and everything. Come on. Nobody said anything besides the last guy, the guy at the very end. I think somebody else was saying something. Shame on every single other person in there, especially the military people. So whenever you speak out, here's JFK, and this is a speech that he did. So with everything that we know, you know, just listen to this speech real quick. I know we're getting a little long. I didn't want to get this long. So let's just listen to JFK's speech real quick and think of everything else we've just learned.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people.
Again, JFK was for Israel. You know, he was for Israel at first, and then when they started testing their nuclear bombs, he wanted inspectors there to see everything that was going on, and they refused that and cut off aid to him. And I think you guys know what happened after that. So here's another person that started speaking out against Philadelphia, and I think we all know what happened with him as well. Look familiar? Let's see what he has to say.
Let's be honest, this is more Israel pushing for Iran, but is that America's problem? That's I mean, maybe the answer is yes. Maybe the answer is, you know what, they were wrong about Iraq, they were wrong about Syria, they were wrong about Afghanistan, they were wrong about the Taliban, they were wrong about Libya, they were wrong about the Arab Spring, they were wrong about Yemen, they were wrong about the Arabian Peninsula, they were wrong about the 9/11 hijackers being Saudi Arabian, but hey, 10th time's a charm. This time we're actually right. Yeah, you're gonna have to earn our trust on this one.
And I think we all know what happened after that.
Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
Same thing that happened to JFK. You know, this ain't just a coincidence, guys. This is all a pattern, okay? And the reason why I think that this war was planned because it started with Venezuela. We took Venezuela, we took their oil, knowing that we were going to go to war with Iran, and through the Strait of Hormuz, I think it's called Hormuz, a bunch of oil flows through there. And so we knew that Iran was going to shut down that strait and make the oil prices drive up. So what we did was took all of Venezuela's oils that was sitting on the largest barrels of oil in the world. And so since we took that, knowing that all the oil prices were going to go up, now we sit on the largest stockpile of oil. You see how all this just comes together? So that's just my opinion. I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys agree with this war or do you not? Sound off in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. You know, again, I don't want to get like controversial on this channel or anything. You know, I just want to voice my opinion a little bit, but I do want to give like a back and forth with you guys. I want to hear what you guys think. Sound off in the comments below. Don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and yeah, guys, we'll see y'all in the next one.